Welcome to the Successful Encore Career Podcast, brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, Central Ohio Area Agency on Aging, and Innosource. This episode is being recorded at the Veterans Job and Resource Fair, hosted by Congressman Steve Sivers at Rev 1 Ventures in Columbus. I'm Brett Johnson, longtime volunteer with Employment for Seniors, and with me, as usual, is Carol Ventresca.
Hi, Brett. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Wonderful. We are excited today being with Congressman Stivers and his staff in helping veterans find work. So we are bringing in a series of guests with us with an array of employers and resource agencies helping veterans find employment. We've invited several guests to talk to us today, and right now, Zack Bridges, who is a paramedic and firefighter with the City of Columbus Division of Fire, is with us today. Zack is a veteran, and he is going to tell us all about the opportunities that he has found with the Columbus Fire. And I have to put a little word in here, too. My cousin-in-law is a paramedic firefighter, and he's wonderful. So I was really excited when you said you could come and talk to us today, Zack. So thank you. So let's go ahead and get started and tell us a little bit about you.
All right. Thank you. Before I start, thank you again for inviting us to the fair. We relish the opportunities to work from a recruitment standpoint, and that's the office I work in, to tell everybody about our job.
Wonderful.
It's the best job in the world.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's great. So tell us a little bit about your military time.
Let's see. I went about a year after high school. I didn't have the money to finish college, so I needed the GI Bill and went into the Navy, 4 years active duty during Desert Storm.
Wow.
And I was a boiler tech, which no longer exists.
Goodness,
They phased that rate out, I think, somewhere in the 90s. And see, after that, I went to college. I was a computer information systems person and did not like it.
Really?
I knew when I was 7 I wanted to be a firefighter.
Oh, my gosh.
Do you remember Emergency with Roy and Johnny?
Oh, yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That was who I wanted to be.
I was going to say, I thought it was the red truck and all that, those sirens and noise and all of that stuff.
Oh, that was cool, too.
Yeah, oh, there.
But it was more about just helping people.
Good.
So
Okay.
my wife gave me permission to leave the consulting world, pregnant with our third child.
Oh, my gosh.
And
Yeah.
pursue my dream as being a firefighter.
Wonderful. All right. So how long have you been in the fire service?
19 and a half years. Got on in May of 1999.
Goodness gracious. Seemed like yesterday?
It does. I can't believe in another 5.5 years I could retire. Not going to, but I could.
Okay, so that brings us right into the issue now. You're recruiting firefighters. If you find a veteran, what do you tell them? What are all the great pieces that can be on their doorstep by pursuing working in the fire department?
Well, the first and probably foremost piece is each veteran receives 5 to 10 points in addition to their score, which only veterans receive. So after we're done grading everyone through a 3-phase test, they have their score. A veteran gets an additional 5 to 10 points, which puts them into the 90 percentile.
Okay.
And that's off of our eligibility list. So they'll be the first people who we begin to vet through the background investigation portions. The other things they receive is their GI Bill through our academy of 32 weeks, plus another 2.5 years till they reach the 3-year mark. They get their GI Bill just like they were in college. If they so happen to exhaust that, the city has full tuition reimbursement up through your PhD. So you would want to utilize that GI Bill while you're in our academy. And if you're granted enrollment into our academy, that's a job offer. That's a 25-year career that you just received.
Mm-hmm.
And what you can do only as a veteran, you can purchase any of your active duty time towards that 25 years. So if you have 4 years of active duty, you can pay and retire at 21 years instead of 25 years.
And is it, because I'm from state service and we have those opportunities to purchase time, it's better to do it right away. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You want to start that at day one, but the other caveat is the military can get all 4 years. You as a state worker
Right.
could have worked there 10. That computates out to only 4 because
Right.
of your pension donations weren't
Right.
equal to the ones that
Right.
they will be able to contribute.
Okay. Good. That's great information. Okay. So college career's possibility, graduate school's possibility. You just have to decide you want to do that after you've gotten into the fire department. So once you're in, then what?
We have the best work schedule in the world. We work 24 hours on, 48 hours off, and we have a Kelly day. So we only average 8 days a month that we work.
Wow.
Once you factor in vacation, it's about 100 days a year. The city compensates us very well.
Where did I go wrong?
I was just going to say, why didn't I think about that when I was...
Wow.
Well, a lot of people do. We'll get about 5,000 to 7,000 applicants when we do our open enrollment.
Is that right?
It is. But the military have that competitive advantage.
Sure.
Because once they successfully complete that testing process, they get those 5 to 10 additional points.
And I could see where a military candidate would be perfect. I'm assuming the position has a lot of stress.
Absolutely.
And you went through military, you saw stress.
Right.
So it could be a really good match, if that's what you thrive on and you like that.
You're absolutely right. If you Google the most stressful jobs, firefighter's number 2 behind active duty wartime military personnel.
Yeah.
Those do, excellent point, correlate well with each other.
All right.
The other thing, too, is veterans sometimes are not able to easily translate their skills from military jobs to civilian jobs for a couple of reasons. They don't, the language could be different, so they're not sure, well, I did this, but what does it look like in civilian? They don't see the value, maybe, of what they did in military because they aren't able to easily translate it. But part of it also is the value of being in military was that notion of unit, that notion of working together as a team. And that's difficult for an individual to then translate their abilities to an employer. But to the firefighters, that really works well because you're working as a team. So that's way to their advantage.
Absolutely. Carol, did you used to work for the fire department?
No, but I've been doing this a long time.
You made an excellent point. That transferable skill set of team. I even was taught to fight fire on board naval ship.
Sure.
It is a perfect marriage. We're a paramilitary organization, in fact. So some of our nomenclature are military terms. And our promotional process is one of them. You promote to lieutenant first, and then to captain, and so forth. They are excellent career movement from one to the other.
I can see your background from working in boilers to going into the fire just because of the kind of mechanical stuff that you had to do on board and what you're doing in the firefighting now. What about have you seen other veterans successfully working through into the fire department from other backgrounds in military?
Yes, but it's more so in regards to what you had said, that personal chain of command, SOP, standard operating procedures. Every discipline within the military has those. Those of us from the military easily digest that way of thinking and behaving. There's very little guesswork in our job. The great part about our job is no 2 runs are the same. So that
good point.
That attention to detail is huge that they gave to us in the military. It's like, hey, the way in which we're going through this SOP is changed because the environment has changed. So what pieces and parts are applicable based on this new environment?
Okay, so the rivalry between police and fire at least sounds like it's great. We all know that you all work together, even if you're on the baseball team, on the field, on different areas. But it's easy for military police to translate into civilian police. But is that something that you have to sort of push a bit to get people to look at fire as opposed to police when they're looking to change from military?
Not really. Actually, people usually sign up for both of our exams.
Okay, good. Good plan.
We're fortunate. The climate of the country, we have a much easier time selling our services than they do.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
But they are like our siblings. Sometimes there's that sibling rivalry.
Exactly.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, the big brother thing kind of stuff.
But oftentimes both are going through our process. With the police, it's better because they hire once a year. We hire once every 2 years.
Okay.
And in fact, our Next hiring phase will be January 1st of 2019.
Okay.
Through the 31st is where you sign up for the possibility of a job in December.
Mm-hmm.
So we're a hurry up and wait process, which military personnel understand well, but it is so worth the wait.
That's wonderful. What words of wisdom do you have for veterans who are listening to this?
If you are sincerely looking to investigate the fire service, come talk to me and the other people in my office. The process is a little complicated, but the sooner you start, the better chance you have of being successful through it. We have the #1 job satisfaction rating out of any occupation or career in the United States.
That's phenomenal.
You figure most people would do our job for free.
Mm-hmm. And if the listener is from outside of Central Ohio, they can go to their local fire station and talk to somebody, and which is a great way to learn about a job, to do an informational interview and just call the station and say, I just really like to get an idea. What do you think? And I'm sure somebody would talk to them.
Absolutely. And before I forget, I just want to mention that we have no age limit for application. We've had a couple of people in their late 40s successfully get through our academy. It's tough because you have to run every day, a couple of miles, and do PT.
Mm-hmm.
But there are those 40 and early 50-year-olds that are in extraordinary shape. Military, especially those Marine guys.
Exactly.
They
Oh
keep
my
themselves
gosh.
up. They can get through our academy.
Wonderful. Okay. Why don't you give us some contact information, phone numbers, websites, whatever you might need to get across to our audience so that they know where to go.
Thank you, Carol. I'm glad you mentioned that. The younger people usually know that you can text a phrase to a certain number. That phone number for us is 474747, and the word that they would text, it's one word, join CFD.
Cool.
In addition to...
And it's join C like Columbus, F Fire, D Department.
Correct.
Okay.
In addition to that, they can go to the Civil Service website of Columbus, click on Public Safety, as well as Columbus Fire. Or they can give us a call in the recruitment office, and our number is 614-645-6387.
Great. Wonderful.
That's great. Well, thank you for
Zach,
being a part of the
thank you.
podcast.
This is terrific. This was great
pleasure.
information. We have an array of people, but I saw the firefighters over there and oh, yes. We're going to talk to them first. So thank you again. Thanks for your time today.
My pleasure.
Circle270Media.com.